morning, everyone. As you can see, I am not in my kitchen this morning because I have a special treat for you. I am currently at the Gilbert Farmers Market and I am going to go and get some fresh ingredients because it is one of my favorite seasons. I love to get ingredients when they're in season, and right now New Mexico chilies are actually in season, and so I am going to make a delicious recipe for you today, and we're going to go buy some delicious fresh New Mexico chilies that are roasted in this big metal roasting barrel, which is super awesome. So let's get started. All right, everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. So I just got back from the farmer's market and we got our delicious New Mexico hash chilies that were roasted there. And so they just come in a bag like this. And like I showed you while I was there, there's a big roasting barrel that they just turn around in, and they are so good. You can just eat them like plain like that. But we are gonna make a delicious recipe with our hash chilies. This is what they actually look like, actually from Mexico, and they are in season right now. Now, if you can't find hatch chilies at your store, you can find Anaheim chilies, which are similar. They're not exactly the same from New Mexico, but they'll work for this recipe as well. So today we are going to make an amazing recipe with these chilies, and it's called Chili Verde. And it's just a pork Mexican chili that is so good, and it's just so tender. It's so great. So the recipe is really pretty easy. We just put all the ingredients in a pot, and we brown the meat, and then we put it in the oven for about 3 hours and let it cook. So we'll get started on that. But first, if you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, definitely do so now, because I have a lot of videos on my channel that are super awesome and super delicious that you can make yourself. So subscribe, check the subscribe button, check that little bell so you can get notifications of my future videos, and let's get started on cooking. Alright, so first things first is we're going to brown our meat. And so I have just some pork butt that I chopped up into big chunks in this bowl. And then I have my hot plate on with just a heavy bottom pot that you're going to use. And then I have a 1/4 cup of oil. You can use olive oil or canola oil or whatever vegetable oil, whatever you've got in your house. And then I'm going to season my meat. Just put salt all over. Mix it up a bit. We're just seasoning this with salt. And we have it kind of just cut up in chunks just like this. Alright, so now I'm going to just put my chunks into my pot. My oil is hot, and so it's going to get all sizzly, and we're just going to brown it on all sides. Do not overcrowd your meat in the pot, because then it won't brown. It'll just, all the liquid will just come out and it'll end up boiling. So you just do a few batches of this as it's browning. Okay, so now that our meat is done, we're going to save about a tablespoon of the oil that we had in our meat, and we are going to put in 2 onions that were chopped. And then we have our seasonings. We have some coriander, we have some oregano, we have some bay leaves, and some cumin. And then, of course, half a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to use a wooden spoon because I'm going to mix all that together. And we're going to saute it for 3 to 5 minutes just until the onions soften a little bit. Alright, so that's been about 3 to 5 minutes. The onions are looking good. They're nice and toasted and they've softened a bit. So now I'm going to add the rest of our ingredients. So we've got some garlic here that I've just minced, some jalapeno, and then also some poblano pepper, which looks like this. And that's just chopped up as well. And then last but not least, our special ingredient, the New Mexico hatch chili. And I just have roasted chilies here, but you don't have to roast them because they're going to soften up in the pan. Stir all that up, and we're going to let it cook for another 3 to 5 minutes. Alright, so we've got everything nice and tender. We are going to now add our tomatillos. And cilantro. Stir all that up. And then here I have our pork that we're done cooking, and I've got just some masa that you use for like corn tortillas that we're just going to pour over our pork. We're going to mix it up. You want to get each piece of that pork to have some of that masa on there. This is going to kind of thicken up your mixture and make a nice sauce. Alright, so we're good with that. We're going to add in our pork now with any juices that have leaked out that is just on the bottom of your bowl. Right, so now we're going to stir all of that mixture together. Okay, now we're going to add 4 cups of water to this mixture. And then last but not least, we're going to add a little salt. Alright, so our last step is we're just going to turn up our heat just to bring this to a boil. And then once we've got it boiling, we're going to lower it to a low simmer and put our lid on, and we're just going to let it cook for 3 hours. Alright, so it looks like it's coming to a boil, which is perfect. That's what we want. And like I said, we're going to let this cook for 3 hours with the lid on. Now there's 2 ways to do this. Normally I just stick it in the oven because I feel like it's really easy to put it in the oven at like 350 for 3 hours and just let it cook. But because it's so hot outside, it's like 95 degrees outside right now, and it's only going to get hotter for the rest of the day, I don't want to heat up my house. And so I'm just going to let this simmer on the stove. If you're in my situation where it's really hot and you don't want to heat up the house, then definitely do that. Otherwise, if you don't mind putting it in the oven, you can do that too. I do suggest you do it low and slow if you're going to do it in the oven. So I would say maybe about 325, turn it on and just let it sit in the oven. But like I said, you can definitely do it on the stovetop and it works just as good. So I'm going to put this lid on now, and we will come back to it in about 3 hours. Alright everyone, so it's been about 2 hours and my meat is already ready. So we're going to get the rest of our dish going. I'm just going to make some simple white rice, and it's a really simple process. What we're going to do is we've got 1.5 cups of water in my pot, and I'm just going to bring this water to a boil. You're going to want to check your meat like about halfway through. I checked it at 1.5 hours. It wasn't quite there yet, and so at the 2 hour mark it's perfect. So you just want to make sure you're checking it so that way it doesn't overcook and get too soft. You want it to be tender and you can pull it apart with forks. Okay, so my water's boiling. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Stir that up. And then 1 cup of long grain white rice. Stir that up. Now you're gonna bring that to a boil again. It's at a boil. I'm gonna stick a lid on it and I'm going to turn my temperature down and I'm just going to let this simmer. Alright, so you're gonna let that simmer for 15 minutes and you are not gonna touch it. You're not gonna open the lid and check it. You're just gonna leave it for 15 minutes and let it cook. Alright guys, so my timer just went off, so I'm going to turn off the heat. We are done cooking it. So now I'm just going to let it steam for 10 minutes. Once again, you're not going to remove the lid. You're going to be tempted because you're going to want to see how it looks. But you want to let the rice steam and you don't want it to get mushy. So if you remove the lid and you stir it, that's what's going to happen. So just leave it for another 10 minutes and then we'll come back to it and we'll plate up our bowl of goodness. Alright, so we're ready to check out our rice. It's been 10 minutes steaming with the lid on and it is not on the burner anymore. The burner is not on. So I'm going to take the lid off so you can see the reveal of how the rice looks. And you're going to need a fork so you can fluff up the rice. So here we go. Alright, so one thing you're going to see when you are doing your rice is you're going to see all these little holes. And those are like the steam holes. That helps you know that the rice is done. So you can see all the different little steam holes in the rice telling me that the rice is done. So now I'm just going to use my fork and I'm just going to fluff it up. There you have it, perfectly cooked rice that's not mushy. I'm going to get my pork now and we're going to get our chile verde all together and we're going to put it in a bowl and we're going to give it all a try, all together. So I can't forget to show you what the chile verde looks like. So what you're going to do once it's ready is you're just going to take off that lid. Oh yeah, look at that. So good. And then you're going to get a couple of forks and you're just going to pull apart the meat to shred it. And just gonna be super simple because it's just gonna be falling apart. All right, I have to give this a try. So we're gonna put it in a bowl and we're gonna get the show on the road and eat some of this chile verde. All right, guys, so we are ready to dig in. So as you can see, I have my delicious bowl of chile verde and there's rice underneath here. And I've just put some red radishes, cilantro, red onions, a little bit of a dollop of sour cream, and some avocados. And then here I have a special recipe that you will catch on my reels or my shorts, and it's a keto tortilla. So I don't, if you are looking for a healthier option that doesn't involve any flour or anything like that and you want to stay low carb, you can make these delicious keto tortillas and they're really easy and they're really quick to make too. So you can also make tacos out of that chile verde. So we are going to actually try though, I'll try that one too, but first we're going to try the actual recipe with the chile verde and then the rice underneath. Dig in. So tender. That is some good food. It's so moist and tender. The rice is cooked perfectly. It's not too spicy. So if you don't like spicy food, you don't have to worry about this. Although I do like spicy food, so it might be a little too spicy for you if you are like really spicy-ophobic. But you can always cut down on the peppers if that is the case. But other than that, it is so good. Oh my gosh, guys. Make it with the right rice. It's a super easy, quick dinner meal. And then if you have leftovers, you can do tacos the next night. Let's try that taco. I've always been worried about tacos because I'm always like, well, it's keto, like, is it gonna stay together? But as you can see, this taco is staying together. The shell nut is really crispy and it tastes really good. So it doesn't, I'm not missing the tortilla at all. So make that keto recipe, make this recipe, It's so good, not super difficult, and it's an authentic Mexican meal. Well, thank you all of you for watching my channel, watching this video. It's been awesome, it's been fun, but it's time to go. So definitely, like I said, make this recipe. The recipe will be down in the description. You can also make additional recipes if you'd like something else other than white rice on the side. I do have an elote corn video that you can watch that has some elote corn sides that you can make with that. Or you can go back to my first video that I ever made, which was my salsa and guacamole, which is super, super delicious. And you can put some of that salsa guacamole on here too. So go back to those videos, check out the rest of the videos on my channel, check that like button, check that subscribe button, and also click that bell so you can get those notifications of any future videos. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.